Hey, Mike, always a pleasure to see you. It's been quite some time. Super excited about today's conversation, not only on a personal level, because you and I have known each other for years, but also on a professional level. We're bringing together the capabilities of our two companies, and I think really delivering some super unique solutions to the marketplace. This combination of TechSee and NeuraFlash, I think, will bring our joint customers, some outcomes that are really unrivaled in the industry. And, I think for our discussion here today, speaking of industries, NeuraFlash is clearly a leader in, both systems integration, and, your ISV business is amazing, and you guys are covering both field and customer service spaces. So I guess one of the questions I have for you, I'm super curious about this, and what are some of these trends that you all are seeing and hearing from your customers around their transformation requirements, their field enablement, their contact center optimization? How are you guys getting your feedback from your customers, and ultimately what are they looking for?
Yeah, Steve, great question. And first of all, it's great to be on with you. Great to see you again. Great to be in at least the same virtual room together.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And we're really at NeuraFlash really excited about the relationship with TechSee, and what you and your technology and your presence bring to the marketplace. And we're super excited to be a part of that moving forward. But it's interesting, and you and I have been around this space for a long time. In some ways, it's still what's old is what's new again. So if you ask what our customers are looking to do and what they're trying to do around contact center, around automation, around field service, around quote to cash, around any of these things, it's taking as much advantage of their human resources as possible. It's putting the right tools in the hands of the right people at the right time, at the right place, so they can have the biggest moment of impact with that customer, with that prospect, with that person in the field. So there's so much information, there's so much data, there's so much out there. How do you get the right information to the right person at the right time? And I think companies still struggle with that, and it doesn't get any easier with the way companies are, adding new systems, bringing new processes in, adding, super cool technologies like Slack, things like that are another way for employees to interact with the organization. So I think the challenge is still partially of trying to get all that information together, again, to the right people at the right time.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that kind of Baskin Robbins approach of, we're going to have 32 products in the place, and, we're going to pull a little data from here and a little business process from there, and we're going to try to insert some automation. That's got to be really complex and difficult for brands to really understand. So how do you guys best support those types of scenarios?
Well, a lot of it is digging in and getting in with the customer and understanding that environment as best as possible. And the other thing of it, you mentioned the 32 flavors. The goal isn't tying all 32 of those systems together, because the squeeze isn't worth the juice at the end of the day. Sometimes it's trying to figure out strategically what is the most important information, what can have the biggest impact, where can you taking a hard look at what the outcomes are going to be and understanding that going in. What are you looking to get out of these systems, and spending time on that, and spending time with the customer, spending time in their environment, shoulder to shoulder. I mean, those are the type of experiences that we do to get a deeper understanding, and then help guide them, help give them advice, help guide them through, okay, based on all of our experience of doing this over the years, here's a roadmap. Here are the next 2 or 3 things that you should be looking at doing. And you don't want to boil the ocean. You don't want to try to do it all at once. You have to iterate on these things, because it is complicated and it changes. You come in a year later after you've deployed something a year ago, and unless you're keeping a close eye on that, things change, the environment changes, markets change, customers change. So, obviously, we've gone through a lot of changes here and around the world in the last 3 years. And those type of changes have a big impact on businesses. So just staying on top of that.
Yeah, and you talk about the roadmap. There are just a myriad tools out there today that help solve, I think, micro problems in some businesses, macro problems in others. What are some of the tools that you're seeing from both a CX and field perspective that brands are investing heavily into?
So we are, as you know, we're a big SI, and our largest partnership is with Salesforce. And 6 years ago, when Brett Chisholm and the other folks who founded our company founded it, Salesforce had just come out with a concept around Einstein bots, and it was great. You know, the idea of being able to automate, use AI to build smarter, better bots was fantastic. And NeuraFlash decided, because of their background, a lot of the executives came from Nuance and had a background in natural language processing, had a background in AI, had a background in bots and voice. They thought that's what they would dig in first. So that concept around customers doing self-service using an intelligent device to do that self-service is where they dug in. And then after that, the company grew and did Service Cloud, and did field service, did quote to cash, built a really strong practice around Service Cloud Voice with Amazon Connect. And we see now that those are the type of, anywhere where you can add automation, anywhere you can add that connectivity through either Amazon, through Salesforce, through their tools, you know, making it easier for agents or field people to get their jobs done. That's where we've seen a big impact. And that's an area that we've really been able to dig into. And it's really, really worked well for us. You know, there's some parts of the portfolio. Salesforce is a huge company. They've got a huge portfolio. There's some parts of that portfolio we don't touch. But when it comes anything from sales to service, that's what we've dug in. And there are a lot of tools, as you said, out there that can really help companies in their quest to improve customer service, improve automation, drive down costs. But there's a lot of work to do to get those all tied into their environments.
And are you seeing adoption of AI starting to pick up in contact center and field service, or do you think it's still kind of a burgeoning technology?
I think it's hard to say both, but I think it's both.
I mean, you look at Einstein, right? I mean,
yeah, right.
Clearly one of the leading AI platforms in the world's leading platform, right? So, right. You know, obviously they are still very much trying to, they meaning Salesforce, are still very much trying to, you know, develop that and put that into market a little bit more widely. So, you know, clearly they see AI as a vision, no pun intended. Yeah. How are you guys seeing it?
The same way. And it is, we are seeing always a huge amount of interest around it. And I think it's been out long enough now where we've seen some implementations of it, and we've done implementations of it where it really has had the benefit. It really has brought in that business value and that outcomes-based solution that's really helped companies. So I say that it's both because there's a lot of talk about it. More and more companies are implementing it, but people understand now with this vast amount of data and information out there, if you can harness that through machine learning, natural language processing, through all these tools that we have now, that you can really, really help improve, you know, the flows that people are going through and the work that they have to get done. So yeah, it's an exciting time for AI. It's an exciting time to be in the space. And you know, you had mentioned, you know, which is it? It's both. I mean, I think it's busting at the seams. A lot of times people have to get their data in place and get their environment set up correctly to really be able to harness and take full advantage of it. But we're definitely seeing that happen across the board and across industries.
Got it. So, you know, I love hearing AI use cases because they're just so varied and unique to each brand. Any use cases like pop to the top of your head right now, and any customers that NeuraFlash is implementing? And I'm not suggesting you give us the customer name.
Right.
Tell us a story. Tell us something that's working that you know, maybe been helpful to others.
Well, this is back in the Einstein chat world, and this was for a major brand, a major consumer brand. And they had deployed chatbots, and they weren't all that excited about it. And they were getting maybe about a 13% retention rate inside of that chatbot. And we had built out some tools. They're on the App Exchange that allow us to kind of go in and monitor a chatbot, whether it's a Salesforce chatbot or whether it's another vendor's chatbot, and actually use AI and processing to understand what these chats are about. And we were able to go in, take a look at what was going on, take a look at the actual traffic, take a look at historically what the traffic was, and make suggestions for other things they could automate with those chatbots. What are people really looking for? And they were able to take that from 15% up to 65%. Had a dramatic effect financially for them, because they were able to use automation to answer customers' questions quicker, faster, easier. And then what happened were the more complicated situations would go off to their customer service agents, and they would be able to interact with the customers. So they were able to do a lot more work, and they were able to get the really interesting cases to their agents. But they're also able to drive two things: a lot of cost out of doing business, but also an increase in customer satisfaction. So that was with, and I'm thinking of a particular brand in mind, and I don't think we could say the brand, but that's a household brand that we're able to work with to improve that situation for them. So and there's countless cases like that where automation has come in and really, really helped.
Yeah, and actually, I was hoping you were going to lean into one of the brands that I know you guys are working with. I saw you do a really cool job on, and again, we'll leave the name to the side for a minute. But it was it's a near and dear use case to my heart because it utilizes visual AI. It utilizes the computer vision capabilities that exist in my platform to really deliver a very unique customer use case and set of outcomes for a very large brand, right? So it's a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing here. But maybe you can give us the highlights of that one without going too far down the rabbit hole on it.
No, that's great, and it's a great use case, and it is a lot of brand names that everybody knows from the partners in this and from what we had done. But this customer had a problem, and there's a huge labor shortage issue going on everywhere right now in all different industries, and retail included, and consumer products included as well. So this customer had a problem where they have a pretty technical product that they're trying to sell through major retailers. And you need to have a certain amount of technical expertise to be able to position that product, be able to ask questions, to be able to have an interaction with the customer, to really help them figure out of the 30 products I'm looking at, they all look really cool, which is the right one for me. And imagine you walk up in a store and you're looking at all these products and you're confused and there's nobody there to really help you. So what we had done was we used a QR code, and we used your tools to be able to scan that QR code and then automatically route that customer to a product expert. And that product expert was remote and they were virtual, but they popped up on the screen and they could walk that customer through, what are you looking to do? How can I help you today? What products are you interested in? How do you use the product? And be able to help very, very quickly focus that person down to the right product to sell, the right product to buy, and actually have them buy the product. And what the retailer found was sales increased and the customer sat increased. Yeah. So at the end of the day, an outcomes-based business, you want people to buy more of these devices. People are buying more of the devices. You want them to have a great experience that lasts with the consumer product as well as with the brand, the retail store, and that's happening as well. And that was a great use case, and we're excited about the impact we've had, and we see that as part of all over consumer goods, all over retail, a lot of different areas where you can interact directly with the consumer and help them through a process like buying a product. It can have a dramatic impact.
Yeah, and I love that use case because it highlights the way that visual and AI can be brought together to again deliver these really unique experiences. We spend a lot of our time today in verticals that you can call them B2B or B2B2C, but we spend a lot of time in helping our customers to develop these type of outcomes. But even that one is more unique than most.
Yeah,
it is retail. It's electronic or consumer electronics, and we'll just leave it there in terms of the vertical. But it's also support at the same time. So you've got sales use cases, you've got support use cases, and it is a seamless experience for the customer, which is the most exciting piece of this, right? You've got continuity from the time that you walk in that store to the time that you're walking out of that store with your object. I'll just say it that way.
Right.
And it's just exciting for me, again, as kind of a business leader, to see how other businesses are embracing the types of technologies that we bring to the market, the types of capabilities that you kind of link together in order to develop these journeys and these workflows and this kind of change in the user experience that again, I think really show the evolution of where the market is going versus, kind of tailing from it. So really, really exciting stuff for us.
Yeah, and Steve, you bring up I think a great and interesting point. If you look at our field service practice as a company, and we've been doing it now for 5 years, we've got some amazing brands and we've helped deploy field service for them. And it goes back to that premise of getting the right information in the hands of the right people at the right time. And a lot of that is in manufacturing. A lot of that is in high tech. A lot of that is in, being able to go into dispatch somebody to come and fix a router in a home. It's those concepts. And we think about it so much there. And you look at the power of visualization. It takes it to the next step. Now I've got that employee in a home or in a factory or in a business somewhere, and they're going to fix something or fix a problem. And how, having that visualization, being able to show back to the corporate headquarters, this is what I'm finding. Can you help me solve that? I mean, the use cases are endless, and we've seen a lot of great use cases around that. And I think when we think of field service and we think of quote to cash and we think of visualization, for us, because we do so well in industries, we think a lot of that. But I think it could have a huge impact, just like it did for that use case in consumer goods and in retail. So the ability to add visualization, add AI to get the right information to the right person, again, in that retail store, it's hard to hire an expert on all those products to be able to sit in every one of those retail stores. You can have people that are pretty good, but then you can have people that are excellent. And how do you tie those excellent people together with your prospect? So it just takes what we're doing together as companies and it just expands it dramatically.
Yeah, and I think, listen, that human to human interaction, we talk a lot about automation, and we always will, right? It's great. It is a layer on top of the human interaction itself, right? I think the idea that technology, and you hear a lot of this in media today about AI is going to replace my job. No, AI is not going to replace your job. AI is going to make your job a little bit better. AI is going to inform you. AI is going to support customers who are doing the more mundane and repeatable activities, right? Allowing you to focus on the bigger issues and to do the bigger and broader things. So, as we TechSee start to look at automation, the use case you talked about certainly has an amazing kind of human to human interaction, but over time you can start to automate some of these things, put that self-service into the hands of the customer. And when they are at a place where, the self-service just isn't supporting them any longer, transition them into the human or back to the human and be able to recognize very quickly where that customer left off, pick back up, say, hey, I think you should do this. Or in the retail use case, I see you were asking about these 5 questions through the bot or through the visual automation. Have you thought about this? Or this is where I think you need to actually start moving. So you use the either visual or data intelligence to help that agent inform that customer more quickly, more effectively, reduce the friction, and ultimately provide that better experience. So I think the use case that you all showed, I think, shows the future of that, which is amazing. I think it shows that human side of it, layering in the self-service and just creating. And again, I'm going to use this word, and you'll hear anyone who talks to me, I talk about continuity, right? It's the ability to go from one interaction style to a different interaction style, back to the first one, back to the second one, and at the same, really kind of layer in the intelligence along the way to ensure that you've got a seamless experience across. I think that's really what you guys do very well. So we're super excited about the partnership, Mike. Thrilled that we'll be able to show the market more of these types of capabilities and outcomes, and really lead them to places that historically they just didn't know they could go. So I think we've certainly got an art of the possible story here, and could not be more thrilled to be partnering with NeuraFlash so that we can bring that out.
Yeah, we are excited as well, and I think this is an area that's just booming. And you talk about visualization, and you talk about visual AI. The ability now, in the in the AI world, and it's a big buzzword and people talk about it, you need a lot of data. You need to be able to process a lot of data, and that's where you can find those gems that can really help a company out. But now the concept of being able to do that visually with your products that are rolling out, we are so excited to be on the forefront of that and to work with you through that journey. You know, we've done it before with textual. It's going to be so exciting to be able to do that with visual. And I think as these solutions roll out, it's going to be huge opportunities to really be able to go in and help customers, you know, drive the outcomes they're looking for. So I think that we're excited about the partnership. We're excited about working closely with TechSee, and we're excited about, you know, what this is going to mean for our customers out there and what we'll be able to do for them. So I think it's great stuff.
All right, so we're both slapping each other on the back.
Yep.
Great experience.
Yep.
Mike, want to thank you so much for your time today. Really looking forward to next steps with us. And, you know, for those of you that are out there, you know, watching this, you know, feel free to reach out to Mike or myself if you have any questions, and, you know, we'll certainly help you out wherever we can.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks so much. Take care.
All right. Thanks, everyone.